Hey folks, it's Laura with Raintree Nursery. We are here today with this beautiful old grandmother Gravenstein apple. It's the end of winter and the perfect time to harvest Scion wood for custom grafting. We're going to show you how to do it. There's only a few things you need for a successful Scion wood collection. The first is a nice clean and sharp pair of shears. The second is a pen that you're going to use as a guide to help you understand the caliper of the wood that you're collecting. This approximates a 1/4 inch caliper size, and that's about right. And of course, the last thing you need is a plastic Ziploc bag with a slightly moist piece of paper of some kind, either paper towel or a napkin or a piece of newspaper, what have you. And on this plastic bag, you want to make sure to have your name, your order number, the name of the Scion wood you are collecting, and the date that you harvested this wood. All of the wood we collect today are going to go into this bag. The first thing to understand when it comes to harvesting Scion wood is which wood are you cutting? And it's last year's wood. That's the only part of the tree that you want to be harvesting from, is the tips of growth that were created last year. It's pretty easy to tell, even on these older trees, what's last year's growth, because the color of the bark is substantially different from the year before. This has a nice reddish tinge to it. Last year's wood is kind of dusky. It's got a little bit of lichen on it. So that's one trick that will help you understand what was last year's wood. There's also the branch collar that you will see right here. It's a ring of tissue between this last year's growth and the growth of previous years. You once again want to look for this nubby little collar and take everything that is toward the tip of that collar. The third thing you want to avoid is any kind of branching that has flower buds on it. These are flower spurs. They look very different from the vegetative buds on last year's growth that actually will make branches instead of making fruit. So those are the three main ways that you can tell where to harvest from. You look for the nice fresh color of the bark. You look for the collar of the branch and pick everything that's younger than that. And you make sure to avoid anything that would have obvious fruit spurs on it. Now here we have a great candidate for Scion wood. I'm going to compare it to my pen size so I can see it's the right caliper. I'm also taking a look at the vegetative buds on this piece. They're flat, they're scale-like, they're obviously not fruit spurs, and so that is great too. I'm going to cut right above the branch collar, a nice clean cut, and this will be a perfect piece to send off for custom grafting. Here's an example of a piece that's obviously last year's wood, but I think it looks a little too thin. I'm going to hold up my pen. Yep, it's a little too thin. Not a great candidate for Scion wood. All right, so I've got my Scion wood. These pieces are approximately 6 to 8 inches long. They will fit comfortably in my baggie. Also, along with the Scion wood, I'm putting a lightly moist paper towel. You could use a napkin, you could use a piece of newspaper, something that's lightly moist. This goes in my baggie. My Scion wood goes in my baggie. I take out the air, close it up, and then this will live in the crisper of my refrigerator, which is the moistest part of the fridge, until I get around to grafting. Now, Scion wood can be harvested anytime between December and February in most of our regions. The goal is you want to try to harvest it when the wood is at the peak of its health and vitality, which means you probably don't want to do it in rainy weather. And you also don't really want to do it when there's been a hard freeze the night before. If you live in a really cold climate and you have to take Scion wood on a day where you've had a hard freeze the previous night, then wait until the afternoon when things have warmed up a little bit, when the moisture and the liquid in the wood has rebalanced itself. Then you can go out, clip off your Scion wood, put it in your baggie, put it in your fridge, and it's right there and ready, so when you receive your rootstock, you can go ahead and do your grafting. And that's it. Thanks for joining us. It's Laura with Raintree Nursery. Have a wonderful time grafting.